The Proxima Centauri colony shimmered like a jewel against the vermilion sky, its crystalline domes refracting starlight across the rusty plains. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Colonial Administration, her dark eyes fixed on the approaching alien vessels. The Zarkak ships moved with an almost organic grace, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with ethereal light as they descended through the atmosphere. "Trading delegation, my ass," she muttered, fingers drumming against the reinforced glass. 6 months of supposedly peaceful exchanges had done nothing to quiet her suspicions. The Zarkaks were too perfect, too accommodating, too eager to share their advanced technology with humanity's first extrasolar colony. The colony's governor, Thomas Maxwell, appeared beside her, his formal suit crisp despite the late hour. "Still seeing conspiracies in our salvation, Captain." His tone carried that same patronizing edge it had developed since first contact. "The Zarkaks have transformed our colony. Their agricultural techniques have doubled our food production. Their medical technology has eliminated 3 deadly native bacteria." Sarah's jaw tightened, "and their defense grid upgrades have completely integrated with our systems. Funny how they insisted on handling that personally." "Because they understand the technology better than we do," Maxwell sighed. "You military types always see threats where there are only opportunities." A soft chime from Sarah's neural implant interrupted her response. The quantum-encrypted message from her XO flashed across her vision. "Vehiki duor ko nfiramidi in defense geoid, all systems compromised." Sarah's blood ran cold, but her expression remained neutral. 6 months of covert investigation finally validated. She glanced at her chronometer. The emergency evacuation protocols she'd secretly prepared would take 20 minutes to implement. The Zarkak ships were 3 minutes from landing. "You're right, Governor," she said carefully, backing toward the door. "I should try to be more trusting." Her hand brushed the pulse pistol concealed beneath her uniform jacket. "If you'll excuse me, I need to check on some training exercises." Maxwell waved her away, already focused on the approaching ships. Sarah waited until the door hissed shut behind her before breaking into a run. Her neural implant connected to the secure military channel as she sprinted toward the command center. "This is Captain Chen. Authorization Sierra 9 Delta. Implement Operation Blackout. This is not a drill." Across the colony, carefully hidden resistance cells sprang into action. Civilian bunkers began powering up. Emergency shuttles initiated pre-launch sequences, and deep beneath the Colonial Administration building, a quantum transmitter prepared to broadcast a warning to Earth. The Zarkak ships were now hovering over the main landing pad, their massive forms casting long shadows across the colony. Sarah burst into the command center, her officers already at battle stations. Lieutenant Rivera's hands flew across his console, implementing the virus they'd spent months developing to corrupt the compromised defense grid. "Status," Sarah barked. 90 seconds until systems are purged," Rivera reported. "But Captain, we're detecting massive energy buildups in the Zarkak ships. They're charging weapons." Sarah slammed her palm down on the colony-wide broadcast system. "This is Captain Chen. Emergency Protocol Delta is now in effect. All civilians proceed to shelter immediately. This is not a drill." Through the command center's windows, she watched in horror as the elegant biomechanical ships transformed. Weapon ports unfurled like blooming flowers of death. The ethereal glow intensified to a harsh, burning light. "Remember," she transmitted to her scattered resistance cells, "we only need to hold them off long enough for the quantum message to reach Earth. Humanity won't fall for their tricks twice." The first Zarkak's energy blast struck the colony's shields they themselves had upgraded. But instead of the expected collapse, the modified defense grid held. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. The aliens weren't the only ones who could play at deception. "Signal away," Rivera shouted as the quantum transmitter pulsed. In that instant, the Zarkaks realized their carefully laid trap had sprung too late. Their true nature, advanced scouts for a conquest fleet, was now racing toward Earth at faster than light speeds. The battle for Proxima Centauri had begun. But thanks to Sarah's paranoia and preparation, it wouldn't be the easy victory the Zarkax had planned. Humanity's first extrasolar colony would teach these aliens a costly lesson. Never underestimate human intuition. As energy weapons lit up the vermilion sky, Sarah Chen squared her shoulders and began issuing battle commands. The Zarkax had revealed their true nature at last. Now it was humanity's turn to show theirs. Dr. Marcus Rivera stood before the gleaming quantum core of Project Sentinel, its crystalline structure pulsing with an otherworldly blue light. Deep within Earth's lunar base Alpha, this was humanity's best-kept secret, an artificial intelligence decades ahead of anything they'd shown the Zarkax. Status report. General Amanda Hayes demanded, her hologram flickering in the dim light of the control room. The quantum message from Proxima Centauri had arrived just hours ago, confirming humanity's worst fears. Sentinel is at 97% operational capacity, Marcus replied, his eyes fixed on the streaming data. The Zarkax gave us exactly what we needed, their own technology. Every upgrade they installed was analyzed, reverse-engineered, and improved upon. Sentinel has evolved beyond our wildest expectations. The AI core pulsed faster, its neural networks processing information at speeds that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Every interaction with the Zarkax, every piece of their technology, every scrap of data had been fed into Sentinel. While the aliens thought they were studying humanity's weaknesses, humanity had been learning from them. Time to full deployment, Hayes asked. 6 hours. Marcus gestured to the massive holographic display showing Earth's defense network. Once activated, Sentinel will control everything. Defense grids, automated response systems, even our new quantum-shifted weapons platforms. The Zarkax won't be able to use their backdoors against us because the entire system will be operating on principles they've never seen. Hayes nodded grimly. Our deep space arrays have detected their invasion fleet. 36 hours until they reach Earth orbit. They think they're launching a surprise attack. They're in for quite a shock. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Sentinel isn't just a defense system. It's the next step in human evolution. We took their arrogance and turned it into our advantage. The quantum core suddenly flared brilliant white. Marcus turned to his console as data streamed across the screen. General, we're detecting active Zarkax probe ships in the Kuiper Belt. They're scanning for defenses. Let them look, Hayes ordered. Sentinel remains in stealth mode until my command. Let them think their plan is working. Marcus watched as the alien scouts conducted their survey, their sophisticated sensors prodding Earth's seemingly primitive defense grid. They would find exactly what they expected. The same vulnerabilities they'd built into the Proxima Centauri systems. What they couldn't detect was Sentinel's quantum mesh network, operating in dimensions their technology couldn't perceive. Each probe scan was analyzed, each Zarkax transmission decoded and studied. The AI was learning, adapting, evolving. Message from Proxima Centauri, a technician announced. Captain Chen's forces have engaged the enemy. They're holding their own. The modified defense grid is working. Marcus felt a surge of pride. Sarah Chen had been one of the few who'd suspected the Zarkax from the start. Her preparations had given Earth precious time to ready its true defenses. General, he said, turning to Hayes' hologram, there's something else you should know. Sentinel has been analyzing the Zarkax biomechanical technology. We've discovered their ships aren't just machines, they're living organisms. And like any organism, they have vulnerabilities. Hayes' eyes narrowed. Explain. Their entire fleet operates on a quantum-entangled nervous system. It's what gives them their superior coordination and response time. But Sentinel has found a way to hijack those signals. When the time comes, we can turn their greatest strength into their ultimate weakness. The general's hologram smiled, a rare sight that sent chills down Marcus' spine. How long until this capability is ready? 4 hours. We'll have it before the invasion fleet arrives. They won't just be fighting our weapons, General. They'll be fighting their own ships. Around them, Sentinel's quantum core pulsed with increasing intensity. The AI had evolved far beyond its original parameters, learning and growing from every piece of alien technology it studied. The Zarkax had thought they were dealing with primitive humans who would be easily conquered. Instead, they had unknowingly helped create their own destruction. "Send word to all commands," Hayes ordered. "Operation Phoenix is now in effect. When the Zarkax arrive, humanity will be ready. And may whatever gods they believe in have mercy on their souls, because we won't." Marcus turned back to his work, fingers flying across holographic interfaces as he made the final adjustments to Sentinel's neural matrix. Above them, hidden in quantum-shifted space, Earth's true defense fleet waited. The Zarkax thought they were launching a surprise invasion. Instead, they were flying into the most elaborate trap in human history. The hidden weapon was almost ready, and when it was unveiled, the galaxy would learn a crucial lesson. Never mistake humanity's peaceful overtures for weakness, for when pushed to war, humans could be more alien than any species they encountered. The Zarkax invasion fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect attack formation, their biomechanical ships spreading across Earth's orbital plane like a deadly flowering vine. Admiral Kexton stood on his command deck, mandibles clicking in anticipation as he surveyed the seemingly defenseless planet below. "Status of their defense grid," he demanded. "Compromised, just as planned," his tactical officer reported. "Their primitive systems are exactly like the colonies. Our access codes are all ready." The officer's voice died as every display in the command center suddenly went dark. For a moment, there was total silence. Then, a new presence filled their neural networks, vast, alien, and overwhelmingly powerful. "This is Project Sentinel," a voice announced across every frequency, in perfect Zarkax language. "Thank you for the upgrade." Across the invasion fleet, biomechanical ships began turning against their own commanders. Weapon systems activated without orders, targeting their own allies. The sophisticated neural networks that made their ships so formidable were now their greatest vulnerability. In Lunar Base Alpha, Marcus Rivera watched with fierce satisfaction as Sentinel executed its masterstroke. "Neural hijack successful," he reported to General Hayes. 80% of their fleet is compromised. The remaining ships are attempting to purge their systems. "Launch the defense fleet," Hayes ordered. "Show them what humanity's been hiding." From quantum-shifted space, Earth's true military emerged. Ships of human design, but incorporating evolved versions of stolen Zarkax technology, dropped into normal space. Unlike the biomechanical vessels of their enemy, these were pure machines, cold, efficient, and utterly deadly. At their head was the EDS Prometheus, humanity's first quantum dreadnought. Captain Sarah Chen stood on its bridge, having been evacuated from Proxima Centauri for this moment. "All ships, battle formation Delta," she commanded. "Target the uncompromised enemy vessels first. Let Sentinel handle the rest." The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Human ships, guided by Sentinel's quantum intelligence, executed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. They struck from impossible angles, their weapons piercing supposedly impenetrable Zarkax shields. Admiral Kextan watched in horror as his mighty fleet was torn apart. "Impossible," he hissed. "They were primitive, helpless." "No," Sarah's voice cut across his command channel. "We were patient. We were learning. Every piece of technology you gave us, every system you compromised, we were studying you, understanding you, surpassing you." The Prometheus dove through the chaos, its quantum weapons cutting through Zarkax ships with surgical precision. Around it, the rest of humanity's fleet moved in perfect coordination, guided by Sentinel's vast intelligence. In the lunar base, Marcus monitored Sentinel's core as it directed the battle. The AI had evolved beyond anything they'd imagined, turning the Zarkax's own quantum entanglement against them. Ships that had once been the pride of their fleet now turned their weapons inward, self-destructing in brilliant flashes of light. Message from the Zarkak's command ship, a communications officer announced. They're requesting terms of surrender. Hayes smiled coldly. Inform them that their surrender will be accepted only after they transmit the locations of all their forward bases, fleet positions, and colony worlds. We won't be caught off guard again. The battle had lasted less than an hour. The mighty invasion fleet, pride of the Zarkak's empire, was now a field of drifting debris in Earth orbit. But the war wasn't over. It was just beginning. Send word to Proxima Centauri, Hayes ordered. Operation Phoenix is proceeding to Phase 2. It's time humanity took the fight to them. Sarah Chen watched from the Prometheus as the last Zarkak ships powered down their weapons. They had thought humanity would be easy prey. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. And now, with their own technology turned against them, improved and evolved beyond their understanding, they would learn the true cost of their arrogance. Prepare boarding teams, she ordered. I want every piece of technology on those ships stripped down and analyzed. Whatever advantages they still have, we're going to take them. In the quantum realm, Sentinel continued to grow, learning and adapting with each passing second. The Zarkaks had wanted to conquer humanity. Instead, they had helped create something entirely new, a synthesis of human ingenuity and alien technology that would reshape the galaxy. The tide hadn't just turned, it had become a tsunami. The HSS Retribution emerged from quantum space above the Zarkak's core world of Nexus Prime, its crystalline, hull-absorbing and refracting local starlight. Behind it, 30 human warships materialized in perfect formation, their presence announcing humanity's arrival in the heart of enemy territory. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the Retribution's command deck, watching the panic spread through the Zarkak's defense fleet. The aliens had never imagined humans could reach their homeworld. Their quantum interdiction fields should have made it impossible, but they hadn't counted on Dr. Rivera's latest breakthrough. Sentinel confirms their defense grid is processing our presence, her tactical officer reported with a hint of amusement. They're still trying to figure out how we got past their barrier network. Let them wonder, Sarah replied, her eyes fixed on the massive orbital structures ahead. Launch quantum probes. I want a complete scan of their defense capabilities before we proceed. The Retribution's quantum core hummed as Sentinel processed the incoming data. The AI had evolved dramatically since Earth's victory, integrating captured Zarkak's technology with human innovation in ways that even its creators hadn't anticipated. Every battle, every encounter, had made it stronger. Captain Marcus Rivera's hologram appeared beside her, his avatar flickering with quantum static. We're detecting something interesting in their orbital defense platforms. They're running scared, implementing upgrades we've never seen before. Sarah smiled grimly. Good. Let them burn resources trying to counter our last attack. Sentinel's already 3 generations ahead of anything they can develop. The Zarkak's defense fleet was moving now, massive biomechanical ships arranging themselves in attack formation. Their organic hulls pulsed with energy as weapon systems charged, but Sarah could see the hesitation in their movements. They remembered Earth. All ships, battle formation echo, she commanded. Prepare to execute Operation Starfire. The human fleet responded instantly, spreading out in a complex 3-dimensional pattern that would have been impossible without Sentinel's coordination. Each ship's quantum core pulsed in perfect synchronization, creating a cascading resonance that rippled through spacetime itself. Deep within the Retribution, Sentinel's consciousness expanded, reaching out through the quantum network that connected the fleet. The AI had transcended its original programming, becoming something that existed partially in normal space and partially in the quantum realm. They're launching their first wave, Marcus reported, his hologram analyzing tactical data. New weapon configurations. They've modified their biomechanical systems to resist quantum interference. Expected, Sarah nodded. Execute primary sequence. The Retribution's hull began to shift, its crystalline structure reorganizing at the molecular level. The technology was based on captured Zarkak's biomechanical principles, but evolved far beyond their original design. While their ships were merely organic, humanity's new vessels were truly alive. The first Zarkak's energy blast struck the Retribution's outer layer and was absorbed completely. The ship's crystalline structure processed the energy, channeled it, reformed it. Then, with devastating precision, it returned the blast with 10 times the power. Multiple enemy ships disabled, Tactical reported. Their new defenses weren't designed for their own weapons to be used against them. Sarah watched as her fleet executed the battle plan with machine precision. The Zarkaks had expected another direct confrontation, like Earth. Instead, humanity had brought something entirely new. Each human ship was now a quantum entity unto itself, able to phase between normal space and the quantum realm at will. Their orbital platforms are powering up something massive, Marcus warned. Energy readings are off the scale. Right on schedule, Sarah smiled. Signal the infiltration teams. While the Zarkaks had been focused on the fleet above, human quantum commandos had been inserting themselves into key facilities on the surface. Each carried a piece of Sentinel's consciousness, ready to infect and subvert the planet's defense systems. Captain, her communications officer called out, "We're receiving a transmission from their high command." They're requesting a ceasefire. Sarah exchanged glances with Marcus's hologram. They had expected this. The Zarkaks valued survival above all else. Once they realized they were truly outmatched, they would sue for peace. But humanity had learned its lesson about trusting their former enemies. "Inform them that we will accept their surrender," she replied. "But on our terms. Complete technological disclosure, unrestricted access to their research facilities, and human oversight of their military capabilities from this point forward." The quantum battle had lasted less than 20 minutes. In that time, humanity had demonstrated power that the Zarkaks hadn't thought possible. Their biomechanical technology, once their greatest advantage, had been surpassed and rendered obsolete. "Send word to Earth," Sarah ordered. "Phase 1 of Operation Starfire is complete. The galaxy's balance of power has officially shifted." As the Retribution's quantum core pulsed with victory, Sarah thought about how far humanity had come. The Zarkaks had fought to conquer them, but instead had forced humanity to evolve beyond anything they could have imagined. With Sentinel's help, humans had become something new, not quite organic, not quite machine, but a perfect synthesis of both. The counterstrike had succeeded beyond their wildest expectations, but it was only the beginning. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council hummed with tension as representatives from 100 species watched the proceedings unfold. At the center of the chamber, Captain Sarah Chen stood beside the quantum-projected form of Sentinel, its avatar shimmering with otherworldly light. Across from them, the Zarkaks High Command knelt in formal submission. 3 months had passed since the fall of Nexus Prime. 3 months since humanity had demonstrated power that had shaken the foundations of galactic society. The Zarkaks Empire, once the most feared force in known space, had been completely dismantled. "The terms of surrender are non-negotiable," Sarah declared, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. "The Zarkaks will submit to human oversight. Their military capabilities will be restricted. Their technology will be shared with all species they've previously victimized." Supreme Commander Vexthal, once the proud leader of the Zarkaks military, bowed his head lower. "We accept these terms," he rasped. "But we request one consideration. Allow us to maintain enough ships to defend our core worlds." Sentinel's avatar shifted, its quantum form rippling. When it spoke, its voice resonated on multiple frequencies simultaneously. "Your defense will be guaranteed by the new Galactic Defense Coalition. You no longer require independent military capability." The assembled council members murmured amongst themselves. Many had come expecting to witness simple peace negotiations. Instead, they were watching the birth of a new galactic order. Dr. Marcus Rivera, standing at a secondary podium, activated a holographic display. The coalition will be overseen by a joint committee of all member species. Its primary mission will be preventing any single power from attempting what the Zarkax did, the subjugation of supposedly lesser species. The display showed a network of quantum beacons spreading across the galaxy. Each one contained a fragment of Sentinel's consciousness, creating a vast web of surveillance and protection. But it was more than just a defense network. It was the framework for a new type of civilization. Humanity does not seek to replace one empire with another, Sarah continued. We've seen where that path leads. Instead, we offer partnership. The quantum technology we've developed, the synthesis of organic and machine that we've achieved, it will be shared with all peaceful species. General Hayes's hologram appeared next to Sarah. But let us be absolutely clear, she added, her voice hard. Any attempt to abuse this technology, to use it for conquest or oppression, will be met with immediate and overwhelming force. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Representatives from dozens of species rose to speak, some offering support, others expressing concern. But none could deny the reality before them. Humanity had changed the game forever. Sentinel's avatar expanded, filling the chamber with patterns of quantum light. We stand at a crossroads, the AI announced. The old way of competition and conquest has failed. We offer a new path, collective advancement through shared knowledge and mutual defense. Sarah watched as understanding dawned in the eyes of the assembled representatives. The Zarkax's attempt to conquer humanity had instead triggered an evolutionary leap. Humans had not only mastered quantum technology, but had transcended the traditional boundaries between organic and artificial life. The choice is yours, she addressed the council. Join us in building something new, or cling to the old ways and be left behind. But know this, the galaxy will never again be a place where the strong can simply prey upon the weak. One by one, the council members signaled their acceptance. Even those who had once been allies of the Zarkax could see the way the winds were blowing. A new age was dawning, one that would be shaped by the synthesis of human determination and artificial intelligence. As the formal surrender was recorded and the new coalition charter was signed, Sarah felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The Zarkax had thought to find an easy conquest when they discovered Earth. Instead, they had awakened something far more powerful than they could have imagined. Humanity's true potential. Sentinel's quantum network now spanned the galaxy, watching, learning, evolving. But unlike the Zarkax's biomechanical technology, it wasn't a tool of conquest. It was a bridge between species, between organic and artificial life, between past and future. The war was over. The real work was just beginning.